Hey, after a year plus hiatus, I say the word?
Yeah.
Um, this is season 2 of Controlled Chaos. Hey, Patrick,
So
what have you been up to?
not much.
Not much.
See,
Don't be modest.
the issue is once you put a microphone in front of you, it's like, oh fuck, what have we been saying all day? All day is fine, but then there's a mic. It's like shit.
Yeah, basically we walk around town. You know, he helps with work or we run errands. And basically we have a walking podcast that's not recorded. And then we put a mic in front of you and you're like,
Duh. Yeah, no.
Yeah, you made a new friend today.
I did. Couple.
Yeah.
Well, then actually, when we went to Office Max, that lady who was sitting in the line before us, I was talking to her for a little bit too.
Yeah, but that was an ongoing joke with our season 1 podcast was how many friends you made. And then literally on our way to make a podcast.
Bunch of random old guys.
What were we there, like 20 minutes?
Yeah,
She would have sat there another hour.
It was like 30 minutes. I forgot what I even went in there to buy.
Well, I thought she was randomly worked there because I was like, "Why are you walking?"
No,
around
she
just
thought.
randomly?
No, she thought I worked there. No, wait. One of us thought we worked there. I don't know.
It was very strange.
And then the lady who worked there came over, and she didn't even know what we were talking about. She was like,
And then she
okay.
tried to interrupt us. The lady's like, "Shh, shh, I'm talking here."
Who do you think you are, peon? And she was like, shh. I'm like, actually, I needed to talk to the Best Buy lady. I was like, why'd you shush her? Damn it. So I don't think they. Whatever.
Anyway, so Patrick and I thought maybe we'd just try starting it up for season 2. He's been busy. He's been out of town. He was very modest. He like runs a restaurant now. So, you know, among the other 10 jobs he has.
Well, I'm trying to, minus it a little bit. Just the amount of tax forms that come in for each thing is ridiculous. So it's like it'd be nice to not have to have.
Does it actually like add up to a wage, or is it just a lot of learning experiences right now?
I don't know if I didn't. Learning, you learn each industry, yeah. What do you mean by wage? So like enough that,
Like if you were to
that the tax man would come after me?
Oh, well, just that. Can you live off this right now, or is it a lot of like?
Yeah, I could live off this. Well, I could live off of that back then. But it's a matter of like.
No, in those like early 20s, I was always like, okay, some of this is just experience. You know, you kind of have to. You're not going to get paid what you want. But
Yeah, but you can't always use it as a justification. Be like,
no, I totally understand that. At some point,
like you're just some guy eating chips. You're like, I'm experiencing. It's like,
at 45,
you want to experience working? Nah.
Mom's
I got to learn this craft first.
yeah, mom's like, get out of my basement.
No, I'm learning. No, so yeah, you can't use that justification like forever. But yeah, there needs to be learning periods where you get your foot every door. But you shouldn't go work somewhere for a day and be like, oh, I learned. Work there for 6 months is just such a good period.
But I think it has to be like, regardless of what happens, it's going to be this long. I mean, barring something like abuse or something. But if it's like, oh, I don't like the boss or I don't like my coworkers, like that's the stuff you have to work through to kind of, because you're going to get that at every job. If the second you leave because work was boring or hard or whatever, I don't think you're learning the right lessons.
Right, but you shouldn't have to stick with something just because that's how we think the world should work or is explained to us. Like I should work a 9 to 5 where I just sit behind a desk, stare at something, leave, come back, same thing.
I'm saying let's
like,
just say with
what if I want more variety in life? Someone's going to say no, you got to work that 9 to 5 because that's what everyone else did. That's what your grandparents did.
I'm saying if you're saying I'm going to commit to this for 6 months, right? Mm-hmm. That's a reasonable amount of time to have like kind of a difficult experience. I think those difficult experiences make you appreciate a good job more.
Yeah.
Make you kind of deal with
you
people
need to
better.
have at least one shitty boss.
Yeah, and you have to, again, maybe a short amount of time, but have a set period where you're going to deal with that shitty boss.
Right.
And not just run away. Because at some point, again, even in good jobs, you're going to have bad coworkers and bad bosses.
I actually never had a bad boss, though.
Oh, my first boss was horrible.
Really?
Oh, horrible.
Like, describe horrible. Like,
so
handsy with you?
Well, I was a teenager, and she must have been in her 40s. I just remember she wore a lot of makeup.
This sounds terrible. Like,
yeah, a lot. Like,
don't have the setup sound so bad. So I was a little kid.
So I'm just saying, she seemed. It wasn't like she. Okay.
Wait, where was this? Like Pizza Hut?
At Hardee's.
You worked at Hardee's?
I worked at Hardee's. Yeah.
Gross.
and I was a pretty good worker. I wasn't.
Yeah.
But she just had her favorites and her non-favorites, and then so she just kept slowly.
You'll get that anywhere though.
But you don't take the people you don't like. You just slowly lower their hours per week until you quit.
Could that? This actually correlates.
I was down to 2 hours a week.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, no, it works too, because that's how you make people do this in relationships too, where you just sabotage it,
Yeah.
or where they have to make the decision for you, so you have to do it.
And
then once
if
they
I was a
leave,
bad employee, I get it, but like I got the work done and I was fine, and like I got along with people.
Yeah.
But she just did. We just didn't. I just wasn't one of her favorites, so it's like I get out of here. It's like, but isn't your goal to have?
Did you get along with everyone else?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's like, okay, was I a bad employee?
I got along with, and then I also got along with the guy that also she didn't like. So I think we were like a pack of people. Like,
It could be that. Well, did she hate him more? Could be like she associates you with him.
well, during a rush on Halloween, he dressed up in a costume and buzzed the back door to like do a trick or treat for the employees, even though we were swamped. And she's the one that answered the door.
Wait, what? Explain
Dressed
about
up as in a costume, right?
that? Yeah.
Like trick or treat, right? Except you go to the back of a Hardee's instead of some random.
How could you lure people to the back of a Hardee's? It's not even near the residences.
No,
Did you like?
he was doing this because he worked there and he thought it'd be funny.
No, I know. Oh,
So he dressed up. He wasn't working. Went over there and then hit the buzzer that the delivery guys hit. So she had to leave her station during a swap. And he said trick or treat. But so he thought this would be funny, but of all the people to answer, it was the manager that hates him.
Did he get fired?
No, but I'm sure he had the same treatment I did.
Slowly getting phased out.
Yeah.
Imagine, because that's one little instance. No, I thought you were saying vice versa. Like he advertised that the company was having a trick or treat.
No, that's
come out
elaborate.
here. And I was like, why is he so like?
No, he just thought it'd be funny, and I'd answer or somebody would answer, but it was the one person you couldn't have answered.
Were you there when that happened?
Yeah, and I remember how pissed she was, but I didn't remember getting fired.
Yeah, okay.
But
could you do that logic with like a, I don't know, hypothetically bar manager? Just slowly give them less and less hours until they just quit.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean
okay.
people do it all the time, but as a manager, you should have the best interest of the company, right? So maybe you just don't schedule with them, but that the role they play is still important,
What do you
right?
mean? So
My point is, we got the job done. We went over and above, and the reason I know that, like I am self-aware, is when we went to Pizza Hut, like they loved us there. It was me, then all our siblings. First I think 5. Everybody was loved there because we all didn't screw off. We knew we were being paid to do a job, so we would do the job, and we didn't really butt heads with that many people. So I knew that, like at some point, you're like, is it me? But you go to the next job, and if they love you there, you're just like, okay, like.
But what if the next job they're more lenient?
No, they weren't. Like there was an assistant manager.
What if one's strict, one's lenient? They could have easily you.
I had an assistant manager at that Pizza Hut that I struggled with, but they didn't do the same kind of passive aggressive stuff that I had at Hardee's. You got the same hours.
Passive aggressive, like slowly getting phased out of the schedule.
Yeah, versus just you're fired.
By the way, get out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why it's harder with like some of I mean like doing that logic that the manager did to you, but the owner doing to the manager.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a lot more complicated, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Hypothetically, of course.
I was like, wait, do you need a counselor?
No. Why would I need a counselor?
No, like all of you. Like.
No, maybe we do. No, it's
is there a business counselor? Is that a thing? It's like couples counseling. It's like, oh, where's your wife? No, it's my business partner.
It's me and our manager. The other owner's gonna be there, and some employees.
All of us.
Yeah, we're a family. No, it's just you can tell when someone just has no motivation, and it's so obvious. Like I've asked the same question to her like 3 times, and just no response. It's like
I do think,
okay.
Like when you tell people like, oh, you run a restaurant or bar or whatever.
It sounds more glorified than actually is. It's a lot of moving.
But I'm laughing because people always think of that and they just think of sitting at the bar drinking at their own because it's their bar, right?
Right. Well, that's what I mean. It sounds more glorified. Whoa, bar, endless alcohol. No, it's more like people not coming in when they're supposed to, and you working a 15-hour shift.
No, but you feel the need to fill in those spots. You feel the need to like find better. Like you're doing the exact opposite of what the stereotype is, which is, have you seen the bar rescues where it's like, where you just see it like spiraling around the drain?
I love that shit.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, it's always weird rewatching that stuff, and back then, like, everything just felt like it wasn't lame story. It was just over your head. Like, oh, go make a French 75. But then now it's like, oh, I know how to make. Yeah, you should know how to make that. Why do they not know how to make that?
So you should watch the whole show again.
I should now that I have what's it called?
I was saying that early on to find
Retrospective.
recipe ideas because his recipes were pretty cool.
I like
for a small bar.
I like his training process, like the ones where it's like it's blindfolded and then you see how long if you're doing an ounce pour or not, and then they gauge like what your 3 seconds is, or do you know? Did I just,
Did
I explain that well? Yeah. It's like,
yeah.
There's tubes and it's like 1, 2, 3, and then you look down, and you're like, oh, it was more than three an ounce.
Yeah, it's how you end up with either watery drinks or
you're wasting the company's money.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one I remember. He said they were estimating how much in liquor they were wasting just on how they were pouring.
I don't know how at least his bars have good inventory. I don't know what he's doing to actually like understand how much they're losing. Do you think he's just pulling these numbers just out of thin air?
There's probably a formula that they run. Okay, let's just say for every drink, if this gal's the one primarily doing it, and this one you've seen her do 10, and it's an ounce over every drink.
Yeah,
you go by sales.
Theoretically, it adds up, but he's like, well, you guys weren't there. We weighed everything. We took into account yesterday's bottles, and we could tell that you wasted.
It's also sales too, right?
Right.
You look at how many whiskeys and Coke you sold, right? And then what is the current state of the inventory? You kind of approximate that way too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bar. There's formulas and stuff to run, to make it successful.
Any industry, a bar would have no exception.
Yeah.
What was your go-to drink back in the day? Something sissy, I bet.
Oh, I was going to say wine cooler, but...
Those things actually did look pretty good back then. Do they even make those anymore?
I'm sure.
I don't think they do. You guys would always put them in the downstairs fridge, and I was like, damn. If only I was 21. And then now I'm past that. I'm like, gross.
Yuck.
But
you know how Subway was like the go-to Subway back when we were younger, right?
Yeah, when we had no standards.
Yeah. So now there's all these like Jersey Mikes and all this stuff. They're just Firehouse subs, right? So they have the equivalent of the wine cooler now, but it's just like.
No, I know there's the equivalent. There's something called a beatbox, but it's not super terrible. But the alcohol percentage. You want to guess what it is?
What
was the one for the one when you guys would always drink?
I'm the wrong person to ask. I don't know.
You fool! You just drank it and felt.
I just drank it
it felt good. That's all that mattered. No, it's like 14%. It's wild.
Holy cow.
It's wild. It's like a 4 Loko. Yeah, no. For wine, is it really that like?
So if you drank a 4-pack, would you be wasted?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Not because I'm a sissy, just because it's a lot of alcohol. I probably a mixture of both. Why not?
So, how much do you think you've learned in the past 6 months?
Total or just about bar
industry? Business, dealing with people, bar industry.
A lot, but like you can't be like, all right, now give me a summary. Like there's just so many different things in different areas, like inventory, people management, scheduling. Like there's so much that it's like micro doses of everything. Too? Have I understood ownership? What?
No, you have a partner, so there's that dynamic too, where you can't treat an owner the same way you would.
Yeah, it's always like, what if, like, what's the repercussion? So let's say, I'm like, I want to buy, because we both have our own cards. It's like, I want to buy a new neon sign for the store. He's like, no, don't do that. I'm like, I think it'd be a good idea, and I bought it. Like, what can he do? It's 50-50. There's no hostile takeover. There's just, well, it'd be also pretty wild, like, buy a neon sign. He's like, all right, get the hell out of here. You get the, I'm getting a lawyer.
He puts that line of tape. That's, it's like, your side's over here.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, like, yeah, you can't really treat them the same. But if they have bad ideas and, like, they don't listen on both sides, it's like, at what point can, like, what repercussions are there?
Do you think it would be better if there was a third person involved?
Yes. I think third person, or it's either 1 or 3. I think 2 doesn't necessarily work entirely.
Yeah.
Because one thing we really know, and I mean, he's on vacation for the next 2 months or next two weeks, and the bar is going to run the exact same. I could go away for 2 weeks. The bar is going to run the exact same.
Both of you? You could leave?
Not both. If both of us leave, we're screwed. We have and that's why it comes down to the bar manager. That's why we come back to.
No, I'm saying independently, you could leave or he could leave, and it'd probably run the same
itself.
way. Oh,
And
that's good.
that's something that we both realized
That's cool.
easily. Yeah, even when it just opened, I had Ramley go down to Mexico just for funsies, and the bar ran fine even when we were busy.
That's cool.
But that was 2 days, and this is going to be 8-9 days.
Do you think a lot of it has to do with like good employees that you found? Like if you
No.
lost particular employees?
No, I think it's the business model we've created. It's the structure. It's the atmosphere. It's the cocktails. It's the hours. It's the consistency.
How many regulars do you think you have?
Regulars. Okay, define regular. 2 times there.
2 times a week.
2 times a week. Maybe 10. But if we're saying people have been there more than like 4 times, probably like 70.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I see a lot of like, oh yeah, gin and tonic, right? I'm like, I think.
And do you feel that they appreciate that when you know what they want?
Yeah. I mean, now it feels like they just expect it, so it's not like, whoa, awesome. It's just like, yeah, thanks.
No, but the contrast they'll see is when they go to the other bar and they don't know it.
Yeah.
So you said that there's a level of expectation.
I kind of want to like take a picture of them and then write down their drink and then just have like a book in the back, and it's like you flip through it and then you're like, it's this guy, gin and tonic. But then there's also customers there's one guy, every time he comes in, he has 7 different drinks. He changes up all the time. And I'm like, Corona. He's like, no. All right, the orange neutrals. No. Okay, CC and 7? No. It's like, what is it today's water? Oh yeah. Duh.
I mean, oh yeah, what do you mean? Like you should have known that?
I should have known.
Or you
water.
were joking?
No, it's obviously a joke. But he actually became one of our bar managers too. Not bar managers. He actually works there now.
Do you think he wanted to work there because of that environment?
Kind of. He was actually a regular for a while. He was there like every weeknight. He actually is a bar manager at a different bar, but he comes up cars all the time.
Oh, that's
fun. And then he's like, "Do you guys need help?" I'm like, he's also like fantasized with the idea of like helping us like run the thing, like 50-50 or 33-33. But at that point, I don't know if he would really add enough to justify the pay decrease.
Yeah.
Because the dividends check would be smaller for what? Like someone else who's just managing everything?
Yeah.
It'd be a glorified bar manager then. We already have a glorified bartender. We'd be losing so much money on 2 different people.
Well, I'm wondering,
but the end goal is to basically have someone run it, and that be who is it? Who it is now, this person or this person, and then we can both go on a vacation, separate vacations.
But it's such a small bar though. It's like how can you raise the margins enough that's the pie is big enough to share all that and still be able to leave
with a third entity?
Yeah.
If we involve a third entity, it would have to come down to a new location or a kitchen or something like $100,000 expense that could bring in more money.
Yeah.
Simply just having like, hey, come in and I don't know, let's start adding wine on the menu. Yeah, that's not going to give us. It's not going to change much. So
high-end wine in a small town.
High-end wine in a small town. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not going to do anything.
Well, because you had a lot of ideas, like, oh, we should do this, or I don't even want to throw out the ideas
because they're just too good, or what do you mean?
I don't know. Well, okay, like
because you don't remember.
And no, Age of Empire party, right?
Oh, I'm still all for it.
No, but it's so small. Like, how would you? Or
no, but that is using the bar as a.
But a lot of people are at remote locations. But then you want people to drink.
Yeah, come in if you want. We'll give you a discount drink. But it's not like open up to the community. All right, guys, you know this game? No, not really. Oh, well, we're doing a tournament for it. We're going to get no one. We'd get maybe one person.
Yeah.
And that's because they saw the prize pool, and they said, oh, yeah, I'll risk it all for that money.
Yeah, and like, oh, I've never played that game. I'm going to get killed. Like, I mean, that's what, like, one of our sisters was saying. Like, okay, I'll just donate $50 for this because I'm not going to win. What about, weren't you going to do speed dating or something like that?
That's an idea.
Karaoke?
Karaoke is a no. Well, and that's a big one. That's the one where he's more for, and I'm like 100% against, and he's like 90% for.
It would dominate the bar because it's so small.
The
It's not
bar,
like you
the
could have it
bar
off to
first
the
off,
side.
we need to get like soundproof foam because it echoes too much. We had a band. Not even a band. He's a guy.
Guy.
Oh my god. He like just think of the biggest Guitar Hero pothead.
Did you pay him?
Oh yeah, $500. $500 to drive clientele out of our bar. That's what we paid him for. He was like, oh yeah. The bars in town love me. I've done this and this and this. And then like I was like, yeah, sure, why not? We need live events anyway. And then and he came and he was just screaming. It was like heavy metal. It's like, ah, and everyone's like, what is that? So we were like packed. It was one of our best
And
nights.
people were leaving because of him?
It was like, is it a coincidence or is it because people were leaving anyway? Because like the local football game started around the time he started, so everyone was kind of disappearing quickly.
Yeah.
And a lot like just never came back, even though they said they were. It was like one of our best nights. It was like 1,600, but the projection was it could have been $2,500.
Oh no!
We made it made I think 18. No, like 15 by 7:00, and we were open till 2. Oh, it could have been a dominating night, and this guy just scared everyone off. He's like, can't wait to come back again. It's like,
As a customer?
Yeah, as a customer, sure. But he doesn't even drink, so it'd be like,
oh my gosh.
There is no appeal. So, but he was like, oh, I'll bring all my friends. I'll make the bar pack bar. Right. I'll believe what else to say.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think his dad came. Well, his dad is the only reason we had him in the first place, because he kept coming back to the bar. Oh, you should look at my son. You should look at my son. Oh, okay, fine. I guess we will. And then like he would play like music, like he has a YouTube channel, play music, and he'd like show me the video. It's like a 6-minute video. And you know how like, oh, here, you show him the video, and then you pull the phone away. No, he just sat there, arm up, 6 minutes.
6 minutes.
And I'm supposed to like change my whoa, no way, hey, like. And then I like look away. He's like, no, yeah. Awesome, thanks. He's like, oh, you should see him when he was like 5. Oh, great. Shows me a 15-minute video. I was like, are you serious? So I was sitting there while he's just showing me videos in a dead bar, so I'm not even going to get tipped anything because no one's there. There's no reason to be open, just watching videos. And then I like played some of his music over Spotify, and it's like, it's not bad. It's just
not great.
It's not good enough. It's not good enough to justify $100 an hour. It falls under the realm of generic.
Yeah.
And like I played over the bar to see if anything would stand out, but it blends in. So I thought it'd blend in, but it's like he went off script when he came and just was like, do you know the screaming stuff that they need to hear? I'm going to do that. So, yeah, we haven't been the same since.
Like,
been an empty bar since September.
Ouch.
No.
I'm just kidding.
That would be terrible. No, we actually had do you know what Blackout Wednesday is?
No.
It's the Wednesday, like right before Thanksgiving. Like everyone comes back from college.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the biggest. It's like, I'd say top 5 drinking days of the days of the year. You know, you got New Year's Eve, maybe 4th of July, Blackout Wednesday, I would say, is up there. That I think we made like $2,500 that day.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. Blew your mind, didn't I?
Well, the problem is I'm not sure what
the profit is.
No, but you're saying the 1,600 was a decent day, so 22. That's
25 is insane. Like
that's
way beyond what we expected.
I'm only going based upon the baseline that you give me, because like it's hard. Like some between restaurants, right? Because I'm in IT and I could hear people talking all the time, and like there'd be like
you're also at fast food restaurants. I don't know if there'd be any.
No, but you get the idea, right? That it was like Firehouse Subs or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I could hear the manager talking about how they're going to probably close this down, and he was talking to the guy about like, oh, we make like let's say 2,000 or something this day, and then the equivalent restaurant.
They make 2,000.
I'm just making up a number.
Oh, okay.
But whatever the number is, the equivalent Cedar Rapids one would be, let's say, 4,000. It was like double, right? And so that was putting that restaurant at a risk of closure, right? But you're talking like many more employees, rent's a lot higher, you know. So whatever that number is, it fits that restaurant, that franchise, all that stuff. But for you, much smaller, less employees.
Well, the biggest issue
so it's hard to know what. That's why I think when we talked about this originally, I'm like, you're going to have to do this for 6 months a year to even know what's possible.
Well, it's been about 6 months, but most of those months have been the cold months, so it's a year. We gotta see how a year goes, and that's the best way to gauge it. Probably 2 years.
Because then you have a graph, you kind of see what the trend. Like make this adjustment, see if you can kind of get an upward trend building. Or over time, just become a regular place for, because it takes time, for, especially in small towns, for people to change their routines.
The biggest concern, though, would come down to, bars continue to just disappear out of that town. Ever since we've been open, there's been 4 that shut down.
Have you...
And is that bringing in business? No.
That's weird.
Yeah, well, it's all the riffraff that were at the other ones, but those riffraff just went to the extra riffraff bar. There's one where they practically let you go behind the bar and pour shots in your mouth. How are we supposed to compete with that? Sorry, we charge here. It's not free. I know, it's unfair. So, yeah, we're not getting those clientele, but still, it's any small town. Think of any small town in the world. There's always gonna be a bar. There's probably gonna be 5 bars.
Yeah.
So the demand will always exist.
But there is even in our town, there's turnover in bars like crazy, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's terrible. No, because they were all legacy ones that I think existed for 20 years, but ever since then, it's not even turnover, just not good. They've existed for at least 5 years. It's just no one goes there. They're not going under. They're just doing good enough to survive.
Yeah, which
they got someone who's really really high end, just kind of backing them. Do this, and then let's see if that works. Do this, even though they're 100,000 in debt.
Oh, jeez.
Maybe I don't know.
No, I know that one of them you had said that is potentially for sale. So you had some inside knowledge.
Actually, a lot of them are potentially for sale. 2, 3 are potentially for sale.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, one because I think they want someone else to run it because they don't trust her anymore. The other one, I think the guy over. Well, I was just kind of talking to the bartender, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't think he wants to do this anymore." So, and then there's the one that's been an empty lot for 7 years, but he's trying to sell it for 500,000. It's get the hell out of here. Be realistic. So yeah. we were like maybe if he dies, well, he's been sick for a while. If he dies, the bank will take it, and then they will what do they call it? Appraise it.
Appraise.
They appraise it, and then it goes down so much, but it's apparently it's in his wife's name. It's well, they've been married for how long? She probably has the same philosophy. She's not gonna.
Well, there's an emotional attachment to it, so you think it has more value than it does.
Yeah, and I guess there's another billion attached to it, but it's the billion's never been used for the past 20 years.
Yeah, but it's also you have. Well, I guess it's all just emotional attachment. It's my husband's legacy. It's
nostalgia and all that
nostalgia.
Stuff. It is such a weakness. It really is. It makes you hold on to things that are just so oh, it's $50 more. Well, it was awesome when I was a kid.
Well, it's also can be powerful as a tool too.
Could be too, yeah.
I was telling you about one of the things I had recommended was a Tecmo Bowl tournament.
Yeah.
And as I said that, I saw a notification for one in Pennsylvania. People driving from states away to play this game from 1989.
The biggest thing is though the venue would probably way too small. I mean, we
Oh, I know. It would work. But my point is that there's nostalgia. Will get somebody to drive from a random state and then go into some guy's basement because this guy's doing it at his house. And there's people yeah, I'm coming in from so-and-so.
Well, if you say it like that, there's a good chance we could do it. But it's just you don't want to. If we advertise that, do people could people smell the advertisement? Does it come off as sweaty, stinky?
Because if you're passionate about it,
if someone told me
you're trying to exploit
if our bar was having a D&D tournament, wouldn't you be ew?
Okay, the reason AOE is same thing, right? Age of Empire, it's nostalgia. The game's 20 years old, basically. But the reason it's not is because you actually love it. You're good at it. If somebody walked in, they would kind of feel.
I wouldn't.
You would win.
Okay. You said good at it. I wouldn't go that far.
But good enough.
Yeah.
But my point is, if somebody came up and talked to you about it, you would it would be clear you're not just a wannabe trying to cash in on it. that you're just doing something you love. Like that can't
But
be
that
replaced.
was just for more people, like friends and family. I mean, I could probably name 35 people that inside my realm that love the game.
But you're also trying to get people pulled in, right?
Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, it'd be cool, but I don't think you would.
I'm just saying, if your idea was to pull people in, you're tapping into nostalgia.
Okay. Someone sent me a video on like games that are like easiest to hardest, and those like, and do you know like the hardest game to get like pro at is? They said it was like what was it, Starfield?
Okay.
They said that was the hardest game to become the best at.
The game that just came out.
No, not Starfield. What was the one you used to play? StarCraft. They said that was the hardest game.
Oh yeah, totally.
And they said like Age of Empires were like a couple tiers down it. So the issue is if people's attention span is way too. There's just so much. Like I'm watching a show, but there's a million other shows. I'm watching a YouTube video, but there's a million other YouTube. Like I can change things quickly, So I don't need you guys invested. So if I'm not good at something in the first 10 games, lost my attention. Move on. I don't like that challenge, and that's the issue with Age of Empires. I don't think people like that challenge.
No, but
I'm not going to beat the best, so why put it?
But let's say
10 days in
the population of gamers, right? Yeah. There's going to be 5% that you're going to invest the time.
Yeah, 5%, but that 5% isn't where I'm at. No. Who says that town is that 5%?
No, this may be a bad example. My point is, you're like, well, people aren't going to be drawn upon this because of this or that limitation. But even if you got a tiny pie of that, that is enough to like. Now, a bar is a bad example, but if you did an online tournament, let's say, right, for AOE, there's enough people in the world, even though it's a small percent of the population, there's enough people in the world that you could make a living off of something like that, because there are enough.
Yes.
It's a large group of people. Now it's hard because you're limited by your location and the size of your building.
Right.
But there are things you could tap into that even though it like
any market you can really tap into. If
like Chick-fil-A, right? People say, oh, they're marginalizing themselves because they focus on they give the impression that they're focusing on like Christians and stuff like that. But once you just lock down that percentage, let's just say it's only 20%. That's a big enough percentage that you can become one of the number one restaurants.
No, but
then you do it well enough, you start drawing other people in because you make a good product.
Imagine someone never heard of Chick-fil-A. They go there, eat the sandwich, like, wow, this is awesome. But then they're like, also they're Catholic or Christian. It's like
I'm saying if you do something well, you're going to draw other people in too.
Yeah, so 20% shouldn't be your margin. That's terrible. You're isolating so much.
No, they're tapping into a group that's maybe represents 20%, right? Yeah. But in the process of doing it so well, they tap into, let's say, another 40% of the population.
Right.
Because they're drawn into, people that are nice to me. Oh, good food. They don't care about that other stuff. But what they're doing does marginalize 20 to 30%. Because they think that they're attacking all these other groups, right? They take it as like an attack. So you have media against them and things like that against them. So by focusing on a certain percentage, they marginalize another percentage, and in business generally says don't marginalize anybody.
Yeah.
And so they're like, be as blah as possible because you want to marginalize anybody. But if you do something really well, even if you're only focusing on a small percentage, like that's so many people that you could still make a successful business.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd argue that
20% is just such a scary number.
I'm saying people that are like,
do you want to tell me?
That may be a low number. It could be 30. It could be 40.
So why our bar manager is probably not going to work. She had an idea that was probably going to get us 2% of the area we live in.
Oh, what was that?
She's like, how about we do a drag show? And I was like, okay, a couple issues with that. First off, this is not California. Yeah. Like, I don't know what you're doing there. Secondly, not that town. No. You would lose 99% of the town if you did that. We would lose all of our profit margin if you did that. And like, why do you think that's a good idea? And I was like, no, you don't divide. The products are what matters. Who cares about our opinions? That's not going to change what we have. It's all about the beer. It's about the customer service. Oh, yeah, let's just say this is a liberal bar. Yeah, there you go. That's brilliant. Let's do that. It was so stupid.
Because, but nobody on the outside would know that it was a one-off event. they would assume that going forward that
Yeah,
that's what
we're associated with that.
Yeah.
It's like if we get a karaoke machine, we're a karaoke bar. Doesn't matter. Karaoke machine, we are a karaoke bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a one-off event. No, we'll also do
People don't view it that way.
we'll also do a conservative Trump rally here too. They're just like, what are you doing? Because now we just look like we're frauds because we're doing two different things.
And you marginalize everybody.
Yeah, it was
because whatever group that would be appealed to the drag show would be like they had a Trump rally there, and all the Trump people were like they had a drag show there.
The only people we'd get are the people that I don't know didn't know we did that.
Or like, oh, they're nice enough to me.
They're nice enough, and we'll just be like, because we asked like a couple people in town, like, what's your thoughts on drag show? And they're like, nope, we'd never come to your bar again. One of a couple bartenders were like, yeah, we'd quit that day. Oh yeah, okay.
That's why they don't run anything.
Yeah, I was like, okay,
just keep pouring drinks.
Yeah, just no more talking. We don't need that idea here.
Okay, well, I just wanted to. We probably should wrap this up. Just make a short one.
Time is up.
No, it's 5.
You're a coward. Time for another 30 minutes.
No, but this was supposed to be like a warm up. See if we still had it. No, we probably don't have it, but
yeah, no.
But I did want to keep going forward to keep it to one topic, and I did think that kind of discussion in business. There's. I think you're learning important lessons, and we learned important lessons growing up with our business, our family business. So again, I think even the siblings think that if this all goes like down in a fiery heap, it's a good thing to kind of experience.
The one
all
thing
that.
I do want to do is like at some point, like maybe just separate the entity. So like if this bar can run itself, and I prove that I know how to do this stuff, be like, let's just do a family one.
Yeah.
Let's do a family bar, guys. I'll run the damn thing. I've done it before. And we just have it between, I don't know, one entity that forms a family, or each person has a percent.
There is, I think, a line of thinking that this could be considered like the longest interview process ever.
What do you mean?
That instead of saying, hey guys, I'm going to run a bar, you guys in? That we've just watched you now for a year on how you would handle it, right?
Yeah.
And so when you come back,
we just need something tangible. I mean, they can walk in every day and see that. Oh, nice. It's
but
not on fire.
Yeah. Well, they can see their investment's just not going to go right into the toilet.
Yeah.
It may not work, but at least it's nice to know we have a fighting
chance.
But
even if the bar will not have good profit margins for the next 5 years, we just need the first year to look really good. First 2 years to look really good. And if we can do that, then it can prove that we can.
And we've also discussed like having other venues that the family could work. You know, if they're just not interested in IT, like that could be a place where you could tap into.
You mean like younger generation?
The younger generation. I mean,
yeah.
Once they're old enough, of course, but.
You don't mean like child labor. Guys, we want to get into the factory work.
Yeah, my 12-year-old making a rum and coke. That's probably not a good.
Like little like dollhouses, factory line dollhouse.
Oh, I'm just saying it wasn't a good look that they're masters at mixing drinks and they're 12.
Which one of your kids want to be a bartender? I'm gonna teach them right now. You think Claire would be good at the mixology?
Probably.
There you go. She's got a new passion. I'll pick it for her.
Well, she is good at like a meticulous, like give her a process, she'll get it down.
Oh, actually,
I think yeah.
I just kind of threw a dart at the names. It's funny that I picked her then.
Oh, I've said that because she does kind of have a learning disability, but what she would be good at is I always said she'd be good at a restaurant.
Really?
Because if you give her a set, like here are your tasks.
That would correlate with a lot of things. It wouldn't just be restaurants.
No, she likes
itemized list on what to do.
Yeah, but she also likes the
supply management there.
She's like the mascot of the elementary school right now. Everybody knows her.
Okay.
Like
mascot might not be a good thing. Mascot.
Yeah, well, that's like yeah, I know it.
Why do you make it sound terrible?
It's not.
She's the mascot. She's the.
Okay, I'll put it this way. I walk her home, right?
Yeah.
And the crossing guard, hey Claire. And then we hit to the next crossing guard. Hey, Claire.
Yeah, but
I have 2 other kids here. They know Claire.
Oh, so they don't know your other kids.
They see kids all the time. For some reason, they single her out. Hey, Claire. I let her out of the car, And she runs up and hugs the lady that lets people out of the car.
Yeah, but isn't this also the daughter that randomly sprinted outside, hugged an old man, and he's like, "You again?"
He didn't say it that way. He was like,
"Hey,
oh,
hey,
stop."
And she's like, "Who's that guy?" Or your wife's like, "Who's that?" And you're like, "I don't know."
I don't know, but he said, "You again." Yeah, it's not good. But my point is that
yeah, you're like, "Oh, she's hugging everyone. That's awesome." No,
she was also younger. She's a little wiser now.
oh, she was younger back then.
Yeah, when this happened.
You're lying.
But my point is that she does have like a love of people, and a love for procedure. So we've something like a hostess or a waitress or something. It seemed like it had combined the two elements. You know, she's a desk job that has a bunch of procedures would have all that same stuff, but she wouldn't have that human element that she seems to love. So that's why my mind went to restaurants or a bar or something.
Right, even before I just said that.
Yes, before you said that. It's
fine.
literally a conversation I've had with even the teachers.
Do you have an idea for most kids? Well, I guess other than like the babies that like, other than, you know, the goo goo gagas of the family.
The goo goo gagas.
Do you feel like you have an idea?
No.
Kinda
Dad
hard
was
to
pretty
pinpoint.
good about like not kind of
those.
putting us into a block. Like he'd be disappointed if we did X
But
or
what
Y.
if one of your what if your son's like?
I mean, if they want to become like a criminal, then I'd have a problem.
I wasn't gonna say it like that. No, I meant like what's a. I don't want to call out a job career. What if one's like, I'm passionate about McDonald's. I want to work at McDonald's. Would you be like, aim a little higher, or would you be like, no, see what you do?
I mean,
but I guess you also get the experience, so it's like it's not
the
the worst thing.
I mean, if they're 30 and they're not running the place, then I'd be like, okay, maybe aim higher.
Why do you say maybe aim higher? You're being too nice there.
No, because I do think that we devalue the impact that even at that level you could have on people, right? I've heard of stories where it was like somebody's high or somebody's smile like kept somebody from like killing themselves or something.
Someone's high.
Okay, they recount what happened. Like I was going home to like
take like
their
energy.
Just they bumped into somebody whose positive outlook on life and energy, a smile. They didn't even know what was going on, but that changed the course of how they are.
Just
right?
your terminology confused me
I'm
because
sorry.
you made it sound like they were high.
No.
And I was like, yeah, it's fitting for McDonald's.
No, they smiled or they said hi.
Yeah, no.
And it was,
I see where that.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, oh, I know you're on your way to do the ultimate. Like it wasn't that. It was just like they were just being themselves.
Yeah, someone being like happy, it actually is kind of dangerous. Like you're like driving and you're angry and you're like, oh, this guy cut me off, and the guy like waves at you, like, hey, and you're like, oh, no, actually,
Man, I feel like
I think I misunderstood. I misunderstood him. So it really is powerful.
No, so I understand that enough that like if my kids, in theory,
all worked at McDonald's.
If they're getting minimum wage the whole time, if they have no upward mobility, then I think there may be something.
Yeah, it's the 7-Eleven chick, old lady.
Yeah, you remember the story. Like she probably did it for other reasons, like
She was just a happy person. She wasn't trying to change people's days.
My point is, I don't think she worked there for 70 years at minimum wage. I think maybe she came back to work there to supplement her income or something. Like, if my kids earn minimum wage for their entire lives, then it probably means that there's some lack of motivation in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Even if they like working at McDonald's, I just hope it leads to shift manager to manager, and that kind of upward mobility.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to look down upon them if they pick a lesser, quote unquote, lesser job that most people don't like, because I think you don't really know what impact you could have. So I've had teachers say
it'd be nice to like see. I love stats, like just looking at analytics.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that, like what impact you've done from this. If you did this, what would have happened if that? Like looking at all the
I think the numbers. It would kill us to know that
because there's too much thinking.
It's like
yeah, because like what if it was like
person the time of day
like
okay, this is horrible, but there's a guy that
I don't know.
He put a water heater in at our office, and then that weekend he went and killed himself.
That's terrible.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, man, should I have said, should I have said something, or
But to believe that you had so much impact that you could have changed that outcome,
it doesn't kill me, right?
Yeah.
Because there was a lot going on in his life. Our uncle knew a lot more about his what he was dealing with. it would have had to been the most inspirational speech possible from me, which would have never
While
happened.
he's walking out, you're like, no, don't kill yourself. He's like, what the?
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't going to. Now I am.
So it doesn't kill me that way. But if God knew that there's something I could have said,
because those are the things you keep yourself up all night about for like what reason? It's like there's a lot of how many other interactions could you have had that week?
thousands.
And your speech could have easily been muddled by someone else's like negative energy that day.
Yeah, and then we also had an owner from one of our customers that I interact with a lot, and it wasn't that I interacted that recently, but he also killed himself too.
You said that this was recently, or that was
no, this was 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah,
but in that one, it wasn't like I talked to him the week before or whatever, but it is still like, oh, man, like I know the family pretty well. Like, if only I would have called him or said. But again, it's like.
But that's something you have to realize is there's so many.
But
many people, and you have so little time that like you can't.
Here's the problem with the stats, right? Because it's God's stats. Because
that's
reality.
Yeah,
he could tell you that you could have done something.
You killed him.
No, he doesn't do that.
You would do that. You potentially killed him.
No, but when you start going into like, well, if I only analytics,
Okay, maybe analytics in different areas of life. I don't mean this specifically.
Not spirituality like that.
Right.
And so.
But an interaction with a person, that's spirituality? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, well, it's a spiritual being interacting with a spiritual being. I mean, I think as those kind of decisions are like decisions being. I don't know how to explain it. We're all spiritual beings. We're all looking for meaning. We're all looking for purpose. Like, those are the questions.
So you're saying my interaction with the dog is not the same realm. Okay.
So if you bump into, let's say, Claire when she's 20 something, right, and you just see she has this like passion for life because she just is always happy.
Yeah. Still hugging random people in the streets. So
she's saying her orientation of her as her spiritual person, even though she works at a restaurant. So on an earthly level, you're like, okay, well, she's just a waitress. She's like nothing, right? Mm-hmm. But she has an orientation towards something like that's beyond the state of her life, right? Mm-hmm. Like where is she getting that joy, right? So when you interact with that, it has a potential of like open your eyes to something spiritual. That's my point. So it's possible. Again, theoretically possible. I could have said something to him or this other owner of ours or customer of ours, but again, we have limited amount of ability. Like, come on, to say that
ability, time, everything.
Yeah.
Like I should have reached out to the random man.
The random person.
In hindsight, you should have reached out to him, but that's all hindsight.
Stuff that could torment you, but it's like that's where you have to put that in God's hands. And I'm saying that's where my position is. But if you start asking for stats, like you probably ask questions you don't want answers to.
Right.
It's like if I were a better person, these people would have had better outcomes.
But I wonder if someone if God just told you that one day, like, hey, remember that person years ago that killed himself? Would I be like, oh no, I'm gonna think about this a lot, or is it like so distant at that point that you even think about it? Maybe not. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, like.
I don't think God doesn't dwell in the past. He just wants to deal with.
Well, like you said, you can't get in these hypotheticals then
because it
always comes down to God.
It's meaningless.
Right.
Yeah. When you commit a sin, he's like, okay, what's the new path? Like, let's just say you're going to a destination.
He's not going to keep bringing it up.
And you take a right turn, and you're like, and where you're supposed to go left, let's say.
Yeah.
He's like, rerouting. Okay, right? Okay, rerouting. He just keeps rerouting. He doesn't go, you idiot, why did you take that left like 10 minutes ago? Like, he doesn't, he's always rerouting.
Yeah.
Like, his focus is on the future, right?
He's not bringing up that left turn 2 years down the road.
But our analytic thing is basically like analyzing the trip up to that point, which is
wouldn't you want to know general stats? Like how many years of your life have you spent walking? How many just like that stuff?
That would kill me.
That would be terrible too. It's like you've spent 3 years playing Halo. Like, oh, God.
Think about this. We basically have, in a certain sense, infinite potential, right?
We have infinite potential.
Like there's so much we could.
You're saying I can fly?
No, I'm saying you could have moved somebody to open up an orphanage and save thousands of kids, or you could have like led a charity that fed millions of people. Like we have that potential.
Yeah, theoretically.
Theoretically, right?
Yeah.
But when you read the stats talk about every possibility. And there's some possibilities that okay, my point is our possibilities, let's say 100, we're at like 4.
Right now.
I think compared to what was possible with us.
Yeah, well,
so do you really want to see those stats? Like how bad? No, God doesn't dwell on it.
Yeah.
But do we want to dwell on it? Is my point.
Absolutely not. I'm not going to go take the ACT again. That's what I'm saying.
Oh man. I was trying to keep these on one topic. Now
no, it's still kind of the same area.
Yeah.
I'd say. What do you mean spiritual? It's still business-ish.
Ish.
Talking about the guy that came to the business. No.
Okay, well, we'll probably do another episode here next couple weeks.
Yeah.
And we'll just pick a different topic, and we'll try to keep it within an hour. So I know it's daunting when I would talk to our niece who would listen, and it was like a chore trying to get through 2.5 hours of our shows, and we're just all over the place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't come here with structure. You might have.
No, I had no structure. I didn't even know this was the topic.
You bait me with candy, and then it's like, hey, I'm not talking to the mic.
Come on, it was Panera.
That's true. It was Panera. Panera and coffee.
You bought the coffee.
No, that's how I bait you.
Yeah, so we'll pick a different topic. Probably, I don't know, like, what do you think, like relationships next time? What's your...
Yeah, no, relationships is a good one.
I know, I have a lot of thoughts.
Sports. We're talking about the Chiefs, so you'll get me here for another 2 hours.
Oh, we can do the sports after the NFL season's over.
Yeah, I mean any Monday for the next 3 weeks would be easily sports. I want to do a sports podcast. Just talk sports. Oh, I could do that.
You know, we'd probably actually get some listeners if all we did was sports.
I think I'd be calling out Colin Cowherd 80% of the time.
Well, did you see the... Okay.
That's my podcast is like...
Okay, we'll end it here, but I have one more thing. Do you see the YouTube clip where they have Skip Bayless argue with Skip Bayless?
Yeah, no. That's an old one. I've seen this so many times.
Oh, yeah, I know. But
he's
you
like,
can do that with all those guys.
No, yeah. Oh, I know.
He argues both sides.
What pissed me off about Colin recently is he's always so anti-Josh Allen. Like, you've seen him anti-Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Week 5, after they had, like, back-to-back losses against bad teams, and they were, like, 4-6 or something. Like, they were pretty much out, and everyone was saying. And guess who else did they still have to play? They still had to play the Eagles. They still had to play the Dolphins again. They still had to play the Chiefs. They still had a bunch of good teams. And then this last week, he's like, I told you guys, don't worry. It's Josh Allen. I knew he'd come back, but everyone else thought no. It's like, you did not. He had a recent clip that came out, a little soundbite. He was saying Josh Rosen is 10 times better than Lamar Jackson. Josh Rosen will be the future, and Lamar Jackson will be phased out of the NFL.
The other one that I just heard today was him going like CJ Stroud cannot elevate this team.
See,
he's so bad.
I want to go back but he's such a. And then this is what he does. He finds the little things, the littlest like little fibs where he's kind of like wrong about, and he's like, "You're right, I was wrong." And it's like small things like this coach will make it through the season. And it's like he was already on the hot seat, like stupid things like that. But like the big things he was wrong about, he'll ignore. It's the little ones. So then he creates that false sense of honesty. It's ridiculous. But for some reason,
I didn't realize like the Lamar hate and then the CJ Stroud stuff.
The Lamar hate was big, and there's a reason why he dropped to 32. No one thought he was gonna be good. He was a dual threat, prone to injury, prone to a bad arm.
Who?
Lamar. You said Lamar hate. What are you talking about? Oh, for Colin specifically?
No, I know you said dropped to 32. I didn't realize he dropped that far.
Yeah, no, he was the last quarterback drafted between. It was Baker Mayfield, then Sam Darnold, then Josh Allen, then Josh Rosen, then it was Lamar Jackson.
Oh wow!
But the first 4 were in the top 10, and then Lamar was 32 or 33.
Well, Bill Simmons, he has I think a clip of when they skipped Lamar Jackson because everybody thought they're going to get Lamar Jackson. They're going to get Lamar Jackson. Bill Simmons, he's a Patriot fan.
Who did the Patriots get that year?
Not Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, some throwaway player, probably a kicker.
So that's Belichick's big criticism. He drafts horribly.
But here's the thing, though: would he have been good with Bill Belichick? Probably not. Cam Newton was terrible at the Patriots.
Well, whoever they got is long gone. You know,
right? I mean, but they could have easily phased him out of the NFL. Lamar Jackson ends up being a bust with the Patriots. Never talk about him again. I mean, we can't treat every quarterback like, oh, you missed him. It's like, yeah, because Aaron Rodgers would have been a pro with the Browns in 2004.
Well, the Niners picked Alex Smith over Rodgers.
See, that one was a miss.
No, but timeout. Would he? But Rodgers would have had to play right away.
He wouldn't have played with Favre either.
What's that?
He wouldn't have played with Favre.
That's my point.
Yeah. No, you're right.
If he started right away, would he have been bad? But
I'm already on your side. No, 100%. You're right.
Okay.
No, you are, because then Jordan Love is throwing the same way as Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers throwing the same way.
Yeah.
This is starting a train, and if that's the case, I think everyone's going to copy that formula.
Just
3 quarterbacks in a row. The Steelers stat is wild. Do you know since like 75, the Steelers have had 3 coaches?
That's crazy.
Like that's crazy, but three NFL Hall of Fame level quarterbacks in a row, unheard of. Colts almost did it with Andrew Luck, but since then
the Browns had it.
Since then it's been a little messy.
No, it was okay. So the Packers have had 3 quarterbacks since was it 3 or 4 since? No, it'd be 3 since.
They've had 3 since 1994.
And then the Browns had how many? Was it like
since
25?
1994? I mean, they've rebranded since then to the Ravens. Since Tim Couch, I'd probably guess like 45.
That's crazy.
It's absurd. And the coaches don't even get me started on that. Like the amount of coaches they have just in like from 2017 to now is wild. But I think Kevin Stefanski is their future by a mile.
Oh yeah.
Oh, easily. And I thought he was good. Oh, that was another thing. Colin would always call him out. He's like, Stefanski's garbage. And I was like, I don't think he is.
I think
here we are.
The IR of the Browns could like, if you just do a couple of players, it's a roster. Yeah.
It's 18 people, I think. Most of it's defense.
But it'd be a good team.
Oh yeah. I mean, Newson. I actually can't even name him, but I just know they're good. Is John Johnson still on that team?
I know. I mean, assuming you think Deshaun Watson's good.
There's a good. Okay, it's like go back to 2017 when Carson Wentz got hurt and the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Would they won the Super Bowl with Carson Wentz? I don't think so. Maybe this was a blessing in disguise. Maybe Joe Flacco brings the Super Bowl. Oh, wouldn't that be a great story?
Yeah.
Joe Flacco will be the 3rd quarterback ever to win 2 Super Bowls with 2 separate teams. As a person who's been floating around for the past like 10 years, he's just been in La La Land.
There's a Ravens fan that's already picturing Joe Flacco eliminating them from the playoffs.
Probably. He's got the best road record, so that I would be.
That'd be so fun.
And he probably different. It's the same coach, different players. Would he understand the Ravens well? Do you think he could beat the Ravens? Has he played the Ravens yet this year? He did, didn't he?
I don't know.
How did I miss that game if they did?
I don't know if it means anything.
Still. What do you mean? What do you mean it doesn't mean anything?
He just started.
This is his own team.
I'm saying he just started with the Browns. So if he did,
I don't think he did, because October 1st they got destroyed, or that might have been his first week.
I mean, he seemed to be getting.
He didn't play. The other guy did. Oh, remember him in preseason? Thompson Robinson.
Yeah.
They're like, this might actually be better than Deshaun Watson. He was 3 interceptions that game, 125 yards.
Well, it does feel like there's a little Purdy redemption. That this may be a Brown thing or a Raven thing.
What do you mean Purdy redemption?
Purdy threw the 4 picks against the Ravens.
Oh.
And there's like Purdy sucks, and then he plays Tua, destroys Tua too.
Yeah, and I know I think the Eagles could have beaten them. Nah, I'm just kidding. Just joking around with you.
Can the Eagles beat their way out of a wet paper bag right now?
No, they can't. They're beating themselves right now. I hate watching them.
I know. It's funny that all my Eagle family members, they're like horrible.
Yeah, what I say? Oh yeah, this is what they remind me of. Kill me. Every time I watch them play, it's like,
oh my god,
just get it over with. So I do kind of want them to get bounced, like at least to get someone fired.
Who's the first one you'd fire?
Nick Sirianni. I would crawl back to Shane Steichen, begging for his forgiveness, and say, "You can have everything we have. The Colts have no future. Just come here, come home."
He would never do that.
He wouldn't. I know. But for a head coaching job, it's not impossible. We're just not going to pull him back for hey, you want to come back and be the offensive coordinator?
No, he'd have to be the head coach, but I think after a year, I mean, he's built something.
Yeah, he's built something, and it'd be his own thing.
And there's some
statistics. Statistics.
No.
What are you trying to say?
Systemic issues with the
That's what you were trying to say?
Yes. I mean, the secondary is bad.
No,
and they paid
embarrassing.
some of them.
Yeah,
the linebackers are bad.
I would trade everyone. I would keep I would keep the two Georgia boys, Jalen Carter and
even Hurts. You're trading Hurts?
No, offense is fine. The line's fine. Jason Kelce will probably retire this year though.
Yeah.
So just defense. They're all bums. Not Zach Cunningham though.
Well, this deviated to a sports podcast.
Well, see,
so.
yeah, you said sports, and then
I know, and then we started talking sports. We'll make it a full sports one after the.
Yeah,
or maybe before the Super Bowl, since I'm a Niner fan. Well, if the Niners don't make it, then we're going to conveniently not talk about it.
So who? Okay. Packers are the kryptonite for the Cowboys. So if the Packers win, you go against the Packers. But the Packers are your kryptonite too. No, wait. No, it's 50-50. Who's the kryptonite there?
No, we destroy the Packers.
No,
they implode. We've been the last 2 times.
Oh, you would? Yeah, because of the snow game. I was thinking the Packers won that one.
No.
You're right. You're the Packers kryptonite. The Cowboys are the... So if they win, you play the Packers. You destroy them. And then you'd basically have to play... Cowboys would be eliminated at that point. You'd play pretty much the Lions or Rams.
And I don't want to play the Rams.
So you'd probably play the Lions.
Yeah. Ugh.
But Matthew Stafford, that is a good game. Rams with Matthew Stafford versus the Lions.
But with Stafford, it's the fact he's like not a mobile quarterback helps us.
Yeah, I mean
because the weakness that they had was Lamar Jackson being able to run around.
Just because of what you have, like the Niners thing can go away, but what you have makes me want to watch them Super Bowl. Just under a different team, you know. just like under the Eagles would be nice.
Can you switch jerseys?
So switch teams, and you guys could have Jalen Hurts.
You know, Bill Simmons went through the Eagles World Series or a Super Bowl championship run.
Yeah,
and he said even that was like a fraud. And in the context,
it was because. Do you remember the Falcons game?
Yeah, he said that one.
No, but did he specify what about the Falcons game? There was 2 plays.
Well, yeah, give me the 2 plays.
Before half, well, no, I'll tell you the last one. The last one was Julio Jones, tight coverage, but this was Julio Jones back in his prime. This was after the Super Bowl. Like he had some crazy catches in the Super Bowl.
This is what he was talking about exactly.
He dropped the ball. And I was like, how do you drop that?
Yeah.
Like in the corner, tiptoeing, single coverage. Like,
yeah, the play calling.
Press coverage is nothing. He's dead alive.
And then did they have like a crazy, like, what was the next game?
Not next game. Oh, well, I'll get the next game in
Saints,
a second.
or was it the Vikings?
No, Saints was the year after that, and that was when Alshon Jeffrey dropped the ball. And Eagles could have made a run that year, too, if Alshon Jeffrey was not on the team. He dropped the ball, and we would have won the Super Bowl. Or let's not get ahead of ourselves. We would have pretty much won the game because there would have been like a minute left. He would have caught it. We would have ran it in. But he like went through his hands right into like, I think it might have been Chauncey. Chauncey just like right into Chauncey's arms. And I was like, seriously, we couldn't catch that. This was back when Alshon was the best wide receiver in the league. Maybe that was just me saying that. No, what was I saying? Okay, in the Falcons game, Nick Foles threw it right at a Falcons player, and this was right before halftime. I think we got 3 points on this drive. Nails him like in the knee, and the ball just shoots right into like a Eagles wide receiver's hands. It should have been a pick. I don't even know what happened. Like his hand just didn't reach down or something. Just kneed it right into his hands, and I was like, wow, we just got lucky.
So it's funny full circle, right? That the reason Patriots were mad, right? It's because you know who the defensive coordinator for the Eagles or for the New England was
that year
when they lost the Super Bowl to them.
Pat McAfee. No, not Pat. No, what am I saying?
Patricia.
Yeah, Matt Patricia.
Who's your defensive coordinator right now?
Right now. Yeah, it's Matt Patricia.
He's atrocious.
Yeah, but who was it before? He was atrocious too. Actually, not inherently. Wait, when did they fire the other guy?
I don't know. But so the guy that
what does Matt Patricia have to do with anything?
They threw up like they threw 500 yards passing or something insane.
505 exactly.
Yeah, and they ran all over the Eagles, and for some reason they just kept giving up points.
But that reminds. Okay, I would give up that Super Bowl for this most recent one. I wish the Eagles won this last one, and then I'd give the Patriots the other one. The Eagles put up 35 points on the Chiefs and lost the game. It's the same logic. But Matt Patricia was not the defense coordinator last year. They just got Matt Patricia. It was Jonathan Gannon, and he's the Cardinals head coach now.
No. I'm saying that it's funny this year that there's that
if it was last
New England was looking.
If it was last year, you could bring up this
every
argument,
year they lament that Eagles Super. Like every time they look at the Eagles, they lament that Super Bowl, right?
But it's the same argument as like the the 2012 Ravens.
Every Super Bowl team could do this.
And the 2018 Patriots. And
Yeah, because the Ravens should have lost that, except that fluky thing that happened in Denver.
And their season, their season is very close to the Eagles' season right now. Like, really good half beginning and then garbage at the end. And they somehow won the Super Bowl, so there's still a chance. No, but what's the next game? So it was Rams.
It was a pass interference call that wasn't called.
They were the 1 seed. They were the 1 seed. No, the next game was a beating. Was a beating. They played the Rams, or they played the Falcons, and then they played the Vikings. Remember, 34-7.
Okay, was there a game after that?
No, they're the 1 seed.
Well, they were the 1 seed.
They were the 1 seed, and they were the 1 seed. Everyone was like, "This is a 1 seed," but they're not really.
Well, it's because they lost Carson Wentz.
Lost Carson Wentz, yeah.
Yeah, so they thought it was over because the quarterbacks.
Oh, I remember. Okay, well, this hindsight's more like an optimistic fan, but I remember in the hallway, being like, Nick Foles bring us the Super Bowl this year. But it was a joke. I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, I called it." I'm not gonna. No. And then it was the Patriots game, yeah. So theoretically, but do you remember the 4 quarterbacks going into that NFC Championship and AFC Championship that year?
No.
You can't think of any?
No.
Tom Brady.
Okay.
It's pretty good. Blake Bortles.
Ugh.
Nick Foles. Case
Ugh.
Keenum.
Ugh.
Right? Right? What a weird year.
Oh, that was a weird year.
Those are the years where it's like, eh.
Well, they called this year the year of the backups.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they look at the AFC, and oh my god. Realistically, I think the Bills and the Steelers would have probably been in the playoffs if no quarterbacks got hurt. Because a lot of the tiebreakers, like the Bengals, they had 9 wins this year. They had the tiebreaker with most of the teams.
Should have 12 at least with
Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Oh, they would have had the Chiefs game. They would have had who's the team before that? They would have had the Texans. No, he was there. I don't know. There's a couple games I remember watching. Like, probably should have won that.
Yeah,
they would have all been in. Steelers would have probably been out. I don't know. It was a tough year to watch.
It was. Okay, well, we got to get going. Well, I got to get going. I'll be honest here.
You usually not honest?
No, when I say we got to get going, you're like, well, let's do this 2 more hours.
We'll have to don't gaslight me.
But in the next 2 weeks, we'll try to do another episode, and maybe we'll do relationships next. Just see what your take on the current state of dating in general, or is it just dating apps? Or
probably not dating apps. No. So okay, if you're gonna watch a football game, where are you gonna watch it?
If the Niners are playing, I'll probably do it at your bar. We'll go to your bar.
Really?
Maybe
at the Super Bowl.
Maybe
I wouldn't be there.
Oh,
I'm not gonna go sit in some shitty ass bar. No,
I'll find a place where there's more family.
Literally, last Super Bowl, I threw a pillow at the wall. There's no way I could do that.
When we played Kansas City, I paced the entire time, and it was because Jimmy G was our quarterback.
I've gotten to a point where I hate the Chiefs more than I hate the Cowboys. I think something's wrong. I watched the Cowboys recently. I'm like, sounds good. Yeah. But the Chiefs, I was like, okay. I was watching every play.
Like CeeDee Lamb and
it's not even that. It's just I think it's just like the lesser of two evils. Who do I hate less?
Well, talk about nostalgia. I have nostalgia hate for the Cowboys from the 90s.
Well, that's what I assume it is.
Yeah.
PTSD kind of.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Because they would step on you guys every year.
Beat and then, like, we had Deion and won the Super Bowl. And then they took Deion and they took Charles Haley.
Yeah, they took your players too. That was when free agency started. Yeah, no.
And so when they had the circle of whatever, championship, whatever this dumb thing that the Cowboys have, Charles Haley's in it.
What are you talking about, circle?
So Jimmy Johnson finally got rewarded by by the owner Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
In the Circle of Honor, or whatever. The Cowboys have like their whole Hall of Fame of their own team, right? And there's like a dozen players in there.
Yeah.
And so they make a big deal that Jimmy Johnson's in now, right? And you see him hug everybody, and then right at the end it's Charles Haley, like,
could have been me.
Well, he won them a Super Bowl, and then he goes and wins the Super Bowl for the Cowboys.
Well, for the longest time. Okay, just a little quiz at the end. How many players can you name have won back-to-back Super Bowls with 2 separate teams? Go. Wow, you're terrible at this.
Yeah, I'm bad.
I thought you'd start rattling them off.
Tom Brady, Charles Haley, I don't know.
Tom Brady, no. 2019, they didn't win the Super Bowl. That was the year where he got picked off by Logan Ryan. His last play with the Patriots was a pick 6.
Oh, that's right.
His previous teammate. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And they went to the Bucks and won the Super Bowl. So no.
Who then? Tell me.
Charles Haley's one of them.
Yeah, I said Charles Haley.
Deion Sanders.
Deion Sanders, yeah.
And then I remember the stat being brought up because this was the stat I saw in the
I thought it just happened. I don't know who the player was.
LaShawn McCoy is one of them. He's kind of an asterisk, though. So he was a backup who didn't play a snap with the Chiefs against the Niners, and then he was a backup who didn't play a snap with the Buccaneers against the Chiefs. He got one. And then Chris Long, Eagles, Patriots, Eagles, and then LeGarrette Blount, Eagles, Patriots. I think there's one more. There was one more they brought up.
There was one like this last year.
Oh, Chiefs. No.
Okay.
Maybe. Oh. Anyway,
okay.
Yeah, I'll let you leave.
Well, let me leave. Well, it was.
I thought I was being held hostage. Why are you now feeling like it?
Well, I got the call me text because it's after 5. So.
Who one of your clientels?
No, the house. They need stuff done now.
Oh, okay.
Pick up kids. We have that whole routine. Dinner.
Gross. You guys do that?
Yeah, occasionally.
Weird.
Okay, well, if we have any listeners left, thanks for listening. And
we're not live.
If somebody downloads this and listens to it, thank you for making an hour of listening to us ramble. And should I say next week? Is that too soon?
Next week? No, don't give them a set time.
Okay. Well, I don't want to make it sound like it'll be another year. See you next couple weeks.
See, there's much no names. Never mind. I guess this list isn't as exclusive as I thought.
No.
Do you know there was a player who played in 5 Super Bowls back to back? Didn't win a single one.
It's probably all the Buffalo guys, and he went somewhere else.
He went to the Chargers. Yeah, he was like the punter.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That'd be terrible. I know.
Is that a stat you brag about?
Oh yeah.
Like you're at a bar, it's like, oh, I was at 5 Super Bowls in a row.
No,
lost them all.
There's not a single other person that can say they've done that. Think about that. Yeah, it's not. Well, then if someone's like, "Well, you loser," he's like, "I wasn't playing. I was on the bench."
Isn't there like a Jake Delhomme or somebody that had like 6 picks and nobody's ever done that before or something like that?
That's true.
I mean, there's stats you don't want.
Yeah, but he's throwing the picks. It's like if you're the backup of him, that's the equivalent of this kicker.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I watched Jake Delhomme throw 5-6 picks in a row.
Well, if he lost all of them, it's probably meant he was pretty busy.
I mean, busy. Oh, yeah. You're right. Actually, never mind. Now that you mention it, probably the only person to blame.
Okay, we'll see you in the next couple of weeks. Thanks for listening.